So here we are.
Great.
So everybody is a co-host, yeah?
Mhm.
I'll start the live.
Shall we let people in?
Yes.
Hello, hello, welcome, welcome. We're going to get started here in just a moment. Welcome to the live. Great to hear or great to see everyone here. Beautiful. Welcome, welcome. We will get started here momentarily. And Lucretia, you'll let me know when we're live on Facebook, and then
It
I
seems
will
we
jump in
are.
and get. Oh, we are.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Well, we're going to get started here then. All right. All right. Well, hello, hello, and welcome everyone to the International Human Design Festival and Immersion. This is the Voices of the Festival. My name is Karen Sherwood, and I am really excited to have an amazing conversation with Hunt Holiday. We're going to be talking about the power of integrity. We're going to be taking a look at responsibility and accountability redefined. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. So, welcome to the beginning of the calendar year of 2026. And this is not really the time for beginnings, yes, yet, but it is a time for powerful completions. And the International Human Design Festival and Immersion is only just a couple weeks away. And that's when we'll celebrate the Human Design or Rave New Year. And this is really the true beginning of the new year. So we just entered trait or gate 54 today, which is all about ambition. And as we talked about last week, this week is about looking back and seeing how we can complete things. And this is about seeing who are your allies and who supported you in the last year and who didn't. And who is going to be there to and your allies moving forward into the future as well. So there's always a big question around how do you stay true to yourself? How do you stay in integrity with yourself in interacting with others, which is one of the big things that we'll actually be exploring in this festival this year. So as we step into the new year, I think it's a very, very powerful topic to discuss. Taking a look at what does it mean to be in integrity and what does it mean to truly be ourselves, especially in working and connecting with others. And then also, what is the difference between responsibility and accountability, especially when it comes to the power of integrity? So I am so excited to talk with Hunt today. And before we get started, I want to just say a quick hello, first of all, to Hunt, who is the master of immersions, and then also a quick hello to our event organizers as well. And so just say a quick hello and also where you're broadcasting from. So let's start with Hunt.
Let's see. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah.
Yes, yes.
I'm in Playa del Carmen, Mexico.
Oh, wow. Very cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, welcome, welcome, and excited to dive into this topic today with you. Beautiful. And Lucretia, let's say hello to you and also Veronica. And what is just saying a quick hello and anything that you want to add about the festival. Again, Lucretia and Veronica have done an amazing job of really putting their heart and soul into this festival, and so appreciate everything that both of you are doing to really have this festival come to life. So I would love to hear from both of you. Let's start with Lucretia and then we'll go to Veronica.
Hello, everybody. Very happy to be here again with Karen, with Veronica, with guests, with Hunt, and with all of you guys who are here to have participation in this discussion, which is very important. The just the word responsibility can trigger a lot of different perspectives and contemplation. So I'm really anticipating this topic. And yes, the festival is approaching. Just 2 weeks or a little bit more than that. And with Veronica, we are very, very super excited.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Lucretia. And again, thank you for all the work that you're putting into making this festival be really a one-of-a-kind festival and immersion. And yes, Veronica.
Hello, hello. Welcome to everybody to our Monday series. We're very excited to have you guys. And I have a message from one of our uh, volunteers. She's a manifester, and I would like to quickly deliver her message.
Yes, please.
So it's a call to action for the human design community. For any of you who are too young or who don't remember this, human design did not begin as something widely accepted. When Ra first introduced this knowledge, it was met with confusion, skepticism, and resistance. He focused on building his community without the advantages of social media. And for years, until parts of the scientific world began to produce findings that validated aspects of his work, the system set outside the mainstream, carried forward through teaching, experimentation, and lived experience rather than approval or consensus. How many of us would struggle today with TikTok lives, LinkedIn networking, and Instagram reels and carousels? Today, there is a global community of educators, analysts, practitioners, students, facilitators, and curious minds who have invested deeply in learning and sharing this system. That community is what has allowed human design to grow internationally and with integrity. As we approach the transition into the era of the individual, there is increasing discussion about what comes next and how we will engage. While energetic transitions are typically gradual, the coming months represent one of the last periods in which broad tribal style mobilization still functions reliably. How we gather, share, and support collective initiatives during this time matters because the mechanics of engagement are already shifting. In just a few weeks' time, the International Human Design Festival begins, bringing together the full breadth of the system as it currently exists, including an immersion with Hunt Holiday, BG5 and OC16, with Karen Sherwood, with Natalie Kaiser, and other big names in the BG5 Institute, and all aspects of the wider body of human design. The intention of this event is simple: to offer people choice in how they engage, learn, and connect. All speakers and presenters involved come from the original lineage of the system, trained through Rauruhu, the HDS, the BG5 Institute, or directly within that teaching line. There is no reinvention, only careful, responsible interpretation, and continuation. This event exists to share correct information, accessibly and with integrity. It's not about hierarchy or dominance. It's about connection, learning, and supporting those who are ready for this knowledge. A great deal of work has gone on behind the scenes to make this event happen. Approximately 2,500 hours, guys, since August last year. It is very much a labor of love, with much of it offered in service to the community itself. Now, in the final weeks before the event begins, your support is needed to make a difference. Whether you are a student, a practitioner, an attendee, or simply someone who has been supported or changed by human design, this is a call to action. That action can be simple: sharing that this event is happening, letting others know tickets are available, or passing the information on to those who may be ready for it now. We're living through a period of significant global change, much of it destabilizing and confusing. Human design offers something practical in the midst of that: orientation, a shared language, and permission to be ourselves correctly. In this system, if this system has helped you understand who you are, how you operate, or how to engage with others, then how you choose to engage now matters. Supporting its continued accurate transmission in whatever way feels correct for you is part of that responsibility. This isn't about one person or even the group organizing the event. It's about community support and continuity. The information below that we're going to share includes ready to share links, guys, and we would be really grateful if you would like to support in bringing this information to people who might need it at this moment. Would you like to help us?
Mm. Wow. Wow. That is an incredibly powerful, powerful message. And I think what we can do collaboratively is something that is incredibly powerful. And it's not, again, I love, it's not just about, each of us, it's not just about one person. It's really about how we work together collectively. And really, really beautiful. Thank you so much, Veronica, for sharing that. Is there anything that you would like to add to that? Oh, you're muted.
Just that I'm super excited for um, what is coming, that we're gonna meet in 2 weeks, and um, it's I feel quite inspired, but also satisfied with all the work we have been doing. Um, I'm very excited. You probably can hear it in my voice, and I really would like that this message gets to more people across the over to swap over the human design community and to get to also people who are new to this information.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so, so much, Veronica. Yeah, it's a beautiful way to lead into what we're going to be talking about today. And so if any of you that are here live in our Zoom room, we would love for you to participate as well. We'll have time at the end for Q&A. So as we go through this discussion, if there's something that catches your attention or gives you an aha, would love to have you write that out in the chat. Also, if you have any questions as well. So
And just
let's,
before you start, Karen, I'm
yes,
sorry to interrupt you, but
no problem.
dear Karen, we wish you a happy, happy, happy birthday. Your new solar year is here, and we wish you lots of satisfaction, success to shine as you are shining right now, and just
Mm.
feel great for and have a great personal solar year, dear. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so very much. What a great thing to do on my birthday is doing something that I really truly am passionate about, something that I really truly love to do. So thank you all for giving me the opportunity to do this as well. So thank you. Beautiful. Well, thank you for all the happy birthday wishes, and let's dive in. I've been really excited to have this conversation with Hunt. Hunt and I, we were just discussing this. He was in my very first original BG5 certification course, so we've known each other for a while. But and I'm really excited to be able to connect with you live in person. Hunt is, like I said, a master of immersions, and he's going to be leading an immersion, if you will, at the festival. And what we're going to be talking about today is the power of integrity and responsibility and accountability redefined. So I would love to start off the conversation, Hunt, with what is integrity and what is responsibility and accountability redefined?
Hmm. Um, I don't know. Um, because the hardest part with all those words and those things that are being used to define something is it seems that integrity is pointing at you not betraying yourself.
Mm,
And then the irony of that is that you don't have a choice,
mm,
right? It's like, so we use these words, but in a way, some of these words, they just feel like another carrot that's out there. And what I've gotten to in this process of seeing things is if you're lucky enough to come across a tool, and in this case, it's human design, and it unlocks that thing inside you that brings about this thing that we call integrity, which is hopefully staying rested inside yourself, staying in your frequency, you know? Because integrity doesn't mean you don't lie. It might be correct for you to lie, and you might get caught. And so somebody might go, oh, they're not very integral. And it's like, well, not out there for you, but for here, it was correct for me to do that. So if you're going to live in the world with integrity, because I don't necessarily like that word, um, hopefully that just means that you're living in the most honest form of yourself to yourself, whatever that is, right? If it's not human design, if it's something else, if you're in the belief that you're living the most honest life you can to yourself, then maybe you're in integrity. Um, and then as it moves along to these other words of responsibility and accountability, this word responsibility comes up. And I know that through the process of living strategy and authority, at least in my experience, it becomes very, 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 very clear that I'm not in charge of anything, nothing. I'm not in charge of my waiting. I'm not in charge of the fact that if I get a sound, if I'm actually going to follow through on that sound. Like I just get to watch it all. So it's very clear that there's nothing that I can be responsible for. None, zero, can't, ever. You know, that's the form of helplessness. Now, the way that I potentially see this word being misunderstood is, and I notice it comes up a lot with emotional beings. My sense in that is that when an emotional being has something that they have to pay attention to, that to try to ignore that or not pay attention to that, it's just not possible. And so inside that, it seems that this word, I have to be responsible. I have to be responsible. It's like I can't ignore this feeling. I can't ignore this. And so I don't know, but it seems like that word's being grafted onto something that's really just about an accountability to something that they have that they can't ignore, that they're going to have to go that way. They're going to have to pay attention to it. But at the same time, I don't know if they miss that whether or not they end up doing it, it's not their choice. They can't be responsible for the actual act. And so this word responsibility still implies that I can do something about it, that I have faculty over whatever that thing is that I think I have to be responsible with. Versus understanding that, yeah, you're accountable to something, right? You're accountable to your inner authority, right? If I have an aha to something, it's like, yeah, that's there. Okay, Hunt, you responded to showing up tomorrow. What happened? You didn't show up. And it's like, you're right, I didn't. I waiting? I'm not in charge of the fact that if I get a sound.
Oh, oh. Echo, echo, echo. I'm really curious. I'm just thinking about as you're talking, Hunt, looking at the word responsibility, and I'm just going to put this out there because I'm just curious. I'm an emotional being, so maybe it's a little bit different coming from someone who's emotional, but I also look at responsibility as the ability to respond, not only what we think of responsibility as, something that we have to do, but, responsibility, like being able to respond as well. Do you see that also connected to the word responsibility?
No, because I don't see
Okay,
society use it that way. We use it as a we use it as something to, I mean, it's even, the fact that it's even in the language of human design, it's in the channel of caring, right? It's like here's something to be responsible for, and but it's the same word like in the 21st gate that talks about control. This can't be responsible.
true.
This can't be in control. This carries out the responsibility. This or not. And so in either one of those cases, this governs it. I don't govern it. You know, it's so it's like hopefully because I see it with people that use this word. Oh, I have to be responsible. But I'm responsible. And it's like as soon as they say it, there's this weight. It's like there's
Mm,
this gravity. And it's like it just feels like the mind has found a way to creep in and try and assume its position still. And it's using this thing over here to do it versus accountability is just that. It's that, okay, yes, this is something I responded to. This is something that, hey, but my friends asked me if I could take care of their house. And I had an uh-huh. Okay. So technically, I'm responsible for their house, but I'm not responsible if that happens or not. But I'm accountable to it. That means if anything happens, yeah, I was there, I was part of it. I responded to my job to take care of it. It didn't happen the way that anybody thought. So be
mm,
it. It's it allow for the word in a sense still allows the person to just rest in themselves, to not
mm,
have tension around it, to just it's like you're not getting away with anything, but you're also not responsible, like as though you're in charge.
mm, mm.
And then maybe that feeds back to that word integrity, right? Because if your mind is trying to be the thing that's responsible, boy, that's going to be hard,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
the mind has that tendency to really get in the way of things. I'm curious, also with integrity, also in relationship to others as well. You've spoken about it a little bit, but how do we maintain who we are as an individual, especially when we're connecting with others? Because that can also get us into the mind of like, oh, I have to do this and I have to do this because we're a part of a group, or you've been deeply conditioned because you have, your family or your relationships show up in a particular way. So how do you stay in a sense sort of, I'm going to use the word integrity, like aligned with and being true to yourself in connection with others?
Way to respond.
Mm.
I mean, literally, as I moved through this process, and I have my in my hometown, my stepmother, my dad, and my sister and my brother all live in that area at that time. And we all had dinner. And my stepmother did not like human design. And I don't blame her because I was the typical human design person. Oh my God, what's your design? I have to see your design. You're this, just initiate, 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 initiate. And then all of a sudden, all those brakes got pumped as soon as I got into my strategy and authority, right?
Mhm.
And so instead, it turned into, oh, now I'm waiting. Okay. And I'm also, because I'm in the first 7 years, I'm really not going to volunteer myself to anything. I'm going to wait whether I get a sound. My brother, who was my main ally, might ask me questions if he's picking things up, right? Or we'll just check in real quick because they're not asking us. Okay. And my stepmother's mind tends to see that I might, at the time, I don't do enough, right? Or
Mm.
I should do things. She likes to manage us in the house. And dinner got done, and my body naturally started to clear clear the dining room table and was actually moving towards clearing the table and doing everything else. And in the middle of it, my stepmother asked me something about clearing the table, and helping with the dishes. And I don't know if you guys are all familiar with this, but when a question isn't a question, it's a command with a question mark and an implied outcome. And I had no sound. I just had, and so I just said, I don't know. And she got so mad. I mean, just so mad. And then she's emotional. And then that kicked off my father because my father, who's also emotional, just wants to keep the peace by making Rosie happy. And so now I've become this big problem. Okay. And her son, who's my half brother, okay, same dad, different mom, she feels that I've corrupted him through this yes, no stuff, right? He can't think for himself. He doesn't have his own inner authority. I have dominion over him. And these emotional beings literally just start attacking me because of this feeling, the frustration that they have around not being able to get us kids the way that they used to. And now they've got this thing. And they literally blew up at me for an hour to the point where my sister, who's an emotional being, eventually tried to come to my defense. And the same with my brother. And so it was like trying to stay with, I mean, literally everything they threw at me was mm-mm, 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 right? Until they pushed it, pushed it, and pushed it, and pushed it. And at that point, I couldn't take it anymore. And I basically looked at the emotional beings in my life, goes, you guys want to hit me? You want to hit me? Then fucking hit me. Like, put up or shut up. So being in this, in your family and your things, strategy and authority is like, it's it's the only thing. It's the only thing to take that kind of potential barrage, and especially since my body wasn't getting up and taking me out of the house. And by the time words came, it was like my system was saturated. There was no place left for me to go. Now, thank God the words that I shared didn't lead to anything, but they easily could have. you know? But it was a calling out as to like, hey, you guys are really this upset at me? Well, then, fucking do something about it. So to me, the only reason that words ever get used for a sacral authority in particular is because somebody's backed you into a corner and your responses are not stopping what's happening. And you're like a caged animal or a cornered animal. Now you have the only thing you can possibly use is your words to bite back, to
Mm.
get them to fuck off. But between that moment and before, it's your strategy and your authority. It's the only thing that can keep this thing like this, right? Because when you're getting confronted with so much disrespect, the mind can't navigate that. It can't. It gets into the what is it? Just the sideways bullshit. It can't stay clean, you know? It can't stay clean. And so strategy and authority is like, okay, this is where I belong. Stay here, right? This is the only thing that allows it to go. I can take those hits. It's like a force field, you know.
Mm.
So, and the biggest thing that'll get anybody into trouble, it's words.
Mm.
It's words, and it doesn't matter just for the sacral authority, right? It's like if an emotional being is not comfortable to speak and they're speaking, it's going to cause problems for them. And once again, it goes back to me. The only reason the emotional beings start saying something to somebody there is because the outside's pushing on them, right? It's like a cornered animal, right? The only reason your words should be speaking more than yes or no, if you're not a sacral authority, is because somebody's pushing on you and you're trying to create space. And
So,
so, sorry, go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead, please. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I was curious with what we're talking about with integrity, like really in a sense standing your ground, then how do you um like what happened? Do you it's what's the difference then there with like taking accountability, or how do you deal with the conflict once it's there? Is it just standing in your power and then allowing, like you said, kind of the swords to not hit you, just standing in your power? Does that eventually calm the conflict, or how do you then deal with the conflict or the results of the conflict after that?
Well, see, I myself, I don't think I would use the word stand because that
Mm-hmm.
sounds like I'm doing something. I don't
Mm,
have a choice, right? I don't have a choice. And the only thing that I've seen that is effective up to a point is truly waiting. And my sounds are the only thing that have any power,
mm,
right? It's just right? And what I see for other types, if you're a projector, it's just no, no. Manifester might be like, no, back the fuck off. Leave me the fuck alone. Stop initiating with me. But each one of those things is little. It's little. And then I noticed that in confrontation, if I'm waiting to respond and this over here isn't stopping,
mm,
that from that place, if words are going to be used, they can be very clean and exact in what they're saying. Okay, they're not going to be messy or manipulative. They're just going to be clean. I have an emotional manifester as a partner. In the beginning of our experience together of this, she also would come at me because she wasn't getting what she thought she deserved or needed or whatever. And so the anger would come and all that stuff would come. And then, but she wouldn't stop, even though I'm going, right? And so it would turn into, well, you're not getting my sound, so what are you doing? And so it would be like a moment to go, but the words that I used are clean and they have to do with the reality of something, not a belief, not a you this, you that. So it staying in your strategy and authority, if you're in a confrontation, it allows you to confront if words are going to be used in a very clean manner. And
Mm,
for me, it just goes back to mechanics. It's like, hey, what are you doing right now? You're not getting access to me. Why are you keep pushing? This isn't working. So it can stay clean. It can stay clean for me,
mm,
right? Because if you start using words and doing this, it can take this frequency and it can make it all bendy. And then you walk away, and then that's where guilt and blame and shame live.
mm.
Whereas in this, it just allows you to stay here. And if words are going to be used, the odds are they're going to be very clean.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And how does that play into kind of the accountability? Like taking, I don't know, in what you were talking about before, the difference between responsibility and accountability. Taking accountability for your like what is true for you and being able to speak those words in a very clean way so that it's ultimately, hopefully, understood by others.
Mm, well, accountability just goes back to is there something that the outside is requiring me to be accountable to? Or is there something that um, I have or haven't done that requires like, okay, if I'm with my partner and I initiate with her and she goes, you're initiating with me. Well, in that moment, it's for hopefully for me to be accountable, which
Mm,
is, oh, you're right. Instead of, well, I want
mm,
to make an excuse because I don't do things like that. It's like, yeah, you're right, I did. And then it's just like, that's it.
mm.
Like, okay, it's over. Okay. Like, you want me to feel guilty? You want me to feel, well, I did bad, I'm wrong. It's like, no, I'm accountable to that. You're correct. And accountability, what I've noticed though, is like, when I work with people, accountability is valuable for, it's always back to, okay, do you remember how you got into the situation you're in?
Mm,
Okay, how'd you get there? Did was it your idea? And this is if it's not a manifester. Okay, was this your idea? Did you ask them? Oh, okay. And then it's for them, there's you're like, oh, oh yeah, I did. I did. And it's like what I notice is when they're able to be accountable to the thing, whatever's in there disturbing them falls away.
mm.
Like has this chance where it collapses on itself and it disappears. And it's like, yeah, man, it's no big deal. You know?
Yeah.
If you're emotional, were you comfortable when you made that decision? Or were you excited? Yeah, I was really
Mm.
excited. Well, okay, well, there you go. So in a sense, accountability has the opportunity to bring relief.
I love that. Yeah. Wow. Really powerful, Hen. I love your depth and the way that you really look at the depth and the nuances of even what the words mean and how to utilize them as well. One last thing, and then I want to open it up. Would you like to speak a little bit about what an immersion actually is? Because that's what you're going to be doing at the festival as well.
Oh yeah. Um, and do you want to hear?
Yes, I do.
Um, it's everything we just talked about, hopefully without a high level of conflict, in a room where the group, everybody's in their experiment. And
Mm,
whatever they don't understand about what it means to live the simple, the space allows for that to potentially be lived out, to be clarified so that when they leave the room, they have something a bit more. It's an opportunity to meet what it means to live in your vehicle, right? Because it's like when everybody goes home, and let's say you live alone, you're not being tested. Like waiting to whatever does not mean you sit in your house and you're like, you know, it doesn't mean you don't get on your phone. It doesn't mean you don't watch a movie. It doesn't mean so people can feel like, oh, I'm in my house and I'm waiting. And it's like,
mm,
are you? Because you did that before you were there. What happens when you go interact with another human being? What happens when you go outside your house? That's where all the problems tend to be, right? It's when you meet the other. So in an immersion, it's the opportunity to like find out where do you have all your gaps, right?
mm,
Where do you have your gaps. And I'm not over there going to be going, you this, you that, you this. No, I sit there and I wait to respond, right? And the room, this is one of the things that I love about the actual WA. This is what I've learned about the WA, okay, is the WA pushes on everybody's open centers and their open everything, okay? So when you're in an environment where that openness gives you the opportunity to see how you're conditioned, because it will push on your conditioning. And if that conditioning is still strong enough, you are going to initiate into the circle. You're going to cut the energy. There's not going to be anything you can do about it because that's how strong that thing is inside you. That's how much it needs to be present. And so, helplessly, that human being is going to play out a role that they play out with other people. And so, in that moment, because it gets dropped into the pot, mostly everybody's going to be present to it. And so, it's got all of these eyes on it. And in that moment, it becomes an opportunity for that person to also see it so clearly that
mm,
all of a sudden it gets transformed, it mutates, and it becomes something where they have a pattern that now they can finally overcome because it's now changed because of this phenomenon that's happening. Okay. Like Ra had like a thing around him. He didn't like him, and they are a powerful, powerful, obviously conditioning agent. But when it's with the right facilitator, it is one of the most incredible phenomenons ever. It reveals the field and what's interfering with it.
mm,
Like we just had an immersion in Mallorca, and it wasn't an immersion because everybody inside that immersion had been in their experiment knowingly, right? Had been to either my immersions or Marianne's immersions, except for one person. And what happened inside that field was something so beautiful that it was just like, oh, this is different. This is totally different. And the experience of the wall and all that stuff was way different than I'd ever felt it in anything else. So, this immersion opportunity is to find out how you're not clean. And
Mm.
then while you're there, sink in to all of the elements that are clean. And it's this nurturing place. You know, it's like a lot of the people who keep returning for immersions, it's not so they can learn more,
Mm.
right? It's like going somewhere and just being with other people in a frequency that's like, God, this is nice. Like, if I'm not alone, I would want to be in this.
Mm.
So, you know, people go to bars, people go to have fun with people, people go to engage, to commune with each other as best they can. In an immersion, it's like, oh, this is what communion is.
Yes. Oh, I love that. And that's really what the festival is all about, is really being able to connect. And it's not about, in a sense, what you quote unquote learn, it's what you really, truly experience. I love that, Hunt. Thank you so much. And I'm really excited for your immersion, for the festival, for everything that is possible and experiencing all of that. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. And I would love to open it up if there are any questions, any comments, any ahas, anything that anyone would like to either share or ask questions. And I don't know, I don't have the forum, so I don't know.
There are
I
questions in the forum, yeah. But Lucretia,
yes.
you can go ahead and ask your questions. Would you like to?
Yeah, I was um, wondering what is your take, your comment on the that fact that for many people it is not easy for many different reasons to be honest, even just for themselves, because earlier you had this comment. So I was wondering, why do you think that happens? Like, why, what, what makes it so difficult?
Hmm. My sense is that it really goes back to something that Ra talked about beforehand. It's at a minimum level, we don't know what it is to experience love.
Mm.
And so in that, I mean, the irony is that it's there. It's always there. But the distortion, right? The conditioning veils it and replaces it with, like you said, is self-hatred. And so to pass through the chemistry of those things that we don't, they're so yuck. You know, I mean, I think we all know what guilt, blame, shame feels like. Like those frequencies are so insidious. And so to avoid them, this doing what it thinks is its job, which is to protect ourselves from that, it'll run away. Okay, let's just, no. Let's go over here. Or the really awful one is to keep doing the thing that keeps that feeling coming,
Mm.
right? Like, oh, this is what I'm worthy of. I'm worthy of this, I'm worthy of this, you know? And so this process of waiting to respond or waiting to be invited or, you know, waiting for life's push or waiting for to be initiated in the lunar calendar, it's like all of that stuff has to leave the body. All of it, jealousy, you name it. So you have to be able to sit through it. And so to wait through that kind of thing, no, most people run from it because it's so awful. Let me distract myself. Let me get over here. It's like, I don't know. Has anybody ever tried to not eat sugar? Right? Even if it makes you, I watch myself eat so much sugar it makes me sick. And my mind goes, I'm never doing that again. And then the next day I'll eat a piece of sugar. Like, these maybe that goes on another point, which is each one of these patterns is a neural highway. So those neural highways, you're going to turn off a biological mechanism just because you want to. It's like, no, you have to do something with enough consistency that the brain actually starts to rewire. So it's like, this is why, I when I was in Ibiza and I did my little talks there, I talked to people who had, said they'd been in their experiment and everything. It's like, look, to me, your experiment doesn't start until literally the majority of your daily experiences is you actually waiting and no longer initiating. Like until you do that, I don't care how much you know about design. I don't care if you've waded through one particular thing. Like this is one of the things I see, right? Somebody has one thing that they've been doing for a long time and they finally wait, and they get through whatever that is. And so oh, okay. And then they start initiating after that other things. And I'm like, no, it's all the time. It's everything. I don't know. Did that answer your question?
Yes, very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucretia, and thank you, Hunt. Amazing answer. And Veronica, I don't know if there's other questions in the chat.
No, but I have a question. Actually,
Yes.
two questions. Hunt, can I ask you? You okay to
Yeah.
answer?
Mhm.
My first question is, once you respond, I'm a sacred generator. For instance, I responded in organizing this event, and it's a lot of work. And sometimes I wake up and I'm so tired, and I feel like doing something else. And I postpone it, let's say, for a certain time. But once you respond to something and you correctly, you have the energy to go through all the difficult times, I think. Yet, how would you um describe, or more like, uh you responded to something and then at some point you don't feel like doing things around that? What do? You stop? What do you think? What is your um or do you have an example of you've responded to something and then, let's say, it's either not correct anymore, or you don't have the energy anymore, or um yeah, do you have a take on that?
Yeah. I mean, look, you and I supposedly, we have it easy because we literally have this sound that will come out that will tell us, you know, it's it's still correct or it's not correct, right? That's when great questions like, do you need like, do you need to complete the festival?
Uh-huh.
And then, okay, so it just becomes an experience, right? Now, if we don't get those things, and I can reference the other types too and other inner authorities, but let's say your body just stops doing things. Doesn't it doesn't do it anymore. And every time you go to do it, you can tell you're pushing. You're pushing. But let's say you go to get questions and you're not even getting any responses to it. Well, that's going to be an experience. And that's the other thing that I've arrived at in this is just because you respond to something, just because your inner authority says yes to something, you do not know if you're going to fulfill it. You may never fulfill some of the things that your inner authority says yes to. You may be 30% into something and your body just stops doing it. And when you check in, there's no clarity, there's no nothing. You're stuck in sort of like I don't know land. And one of the things that I really enjoyed about what Ra shared was is the whole thing of transcending your design. You transcend your design, you transcend your characteristics. Okay, now when he says you transcend your design, that literally means whatever the fuck you are. You're a manifester, you're a projector, it doesn't matter. The whole thing is you're literally, I'm going to put it this way, and I don't mean it this way, but it illustrates a point. You are stuck inside this thing. You are stuck inside of this thing. Like I'm not a generator. I'm not a generator. I'm not a 3-5. I'm not a 4323. I am not this thing. Okay? I'm the thing that's stuck inside this thing. So whatever this thing does or doesn't do is like, okay. And so it becomes, it's all just an experience. All of it. It's all just an experience. Now, I can say that, but for me, it's in your weighting of your strategy and your authority. I watch this. As you move along in your experiment, these words that I'm saying, I'm not saying this because it's an intellectualized concept that I can see. This is something that I experienced living this as I am now, right? That when I watch everybody still worried about what their profiles are and what their details are, their identification with, well, I'm a generator, I'm this, or I'm that. It's like, this sacral doesn't belong to you. Your body doesn't belong to you. You belong to it, you know? So it's like when everything starts to fall away, it's like it's all just an experience. And this thing either fulfills those things or it doesn't, right? And if the sound comes, well, it feels good, right? Because when we get our ahas, it's like went to the fuel tank and it gave us a little more gas. But if it either happens or it doesn't, you know, because one of the ironies too about having allies is that we come out of our waiting to ask help from an ally. We initiate with an ally to get questions. So it's like, in the end, how deeply are we waiting? How deeply are we waiting? Does that make sense? Does that help answer your question at all?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so very much. And oh my goodness, what a conversation. Thank you so, so much, Hunt. Thank you, Lucretia. Thank you, Veronica. I don't know if there's anything that the two of you would like to say or highlight before we wrap up the conversation. And then I'd like to hear from Hunt just real briefly what you want, the words that you'd like to leave us with. But I'd like to hear from Veronica and Lucretia first of anything that you would like to point out or say about the festival as well. I know that this week is the last week that we have the early pricing. Uh, and so I think that it is important and imperative to be able to sign up as soon as possible. So these are the early prices. They've been extended through January 9th, and on January 10th, they will all increase. So this is the time. So we would love to have you on board. Again, Hunt is going to be leading an immersion. We also have the live festival as well, where we're going to be doing a lot of learning, a lot of diving in. We're doing experiments, and really the whole piece about the festival is a lot of what Hunt talked about is really that the whole festival is really an immersion in really looking at yourself in different ways and being able to experience yourself in a group of people that all understand this information so that we can learn, that we can grow, and that we can truly embody what Hunt was just talking about, this experience. Because really, the festival truly is a one of a kind experience that you can't get anywhere else. And so, yes, Veronica and Lucretia, I would love to, if there's anything else that you would like to add to wrap everything up.
Well, before we wrap everything up, I have a second question to Hunt. Um, and just because we have the slide on, the
Oh,
prices go up on the 11th, so they're valid until the 10th. So you guys have 5 more days to get the regular prices. Afterwards, we go into late ticket prices as we approach 1 week before the festival. It's truly not something to miss. It's the last year before the big shift in 2027. So the drill is over. It's really about experimenting and trusting your inner guidance, finding that center in you so that we don't only survive, but really thrive, being authentic, being ourselves. And with this, I just have a burning question, and it's about conflict resolution, Hunt. You had such a topic, and I find it very, very valuable. Can you share something about that? Conflict resolution while staying true to yourself.
Yeah. Just stay in your strategy and authority. And understand that the more words you use, the more likelihood you are of making whatever you're in. Well, I like the way that Marianne put it, you know, that when you're surrendered and you're living your strategy and authority, there isn't conflict. There's confrontation.
mm,
It's confrontation. And conflict is it's the mind, ba 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 versus one person, ba ba ba, ba ba ba, right? And if words ever have to say, like, well, you're not asking me any questions. That's confrontation, right? The is confrontation. But if it's blah, 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 now we're in conflict. So how do you resolve that? Go back to your strategy and authority. And if you're going to say something, man, about the only place you could probably stay safe is if you stay with your mechanics. I need questions, right? Or I need to be invited, or stop interfering with me, stop initiating with me. Does that does that help?
Uh-huh.
mm. Beautiful, beautiful. So, yeah, go ahead.
I had one person that I saw, if she's still here, that I wanted to hear from. Are you okay if I ask an audience member a question?
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Helen, I saw you sitting there and listening to all of this. Would you be okay to share what it's been like for you to experience accountability, being responsible, and conflict? Can you share about that?
Yes, I can share about that. Thank you, Hunt, for asking me. I think I can relate to a lot of that what you told us and what you say about conflict. For me, I experience more and more that people talking too much, especially in conflicts. There's so much talking, and it leads to nothing. Perhaps an example is when people meet together, especially in family gatherings. It's I experience it often. They don't know what they're talking about, what is interesting, or what they should say about themselves. So they take a topic about a political situation, and then everyone had to say something about that. And there's so much talking, and when they are finished, there is what leads everyone is there's no solution. There's only everyone goes out with this talking, and there's frustration because everyone reminds that the political situation is very difficult and can't do anything. It's nothing about themselves. It's more about they want to fill the space. They want to fill the stillness. They don't want. They're not ready or not able to stay with a space with other people. And does it make sense? What I
Yeah.
want to say?
Yeah, that was beautiful.
And sometimes it's always for me that yes, that people talk less. It's perhaps very short. It's yes, and then the words are more worthy and more people. I think they hear more when somebody talk less because once I heard a sentence: if people talk very lot, and, then often they do that to be secure that nobody listen to them, and that is for me very interesting because it's so it's opposite.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, less is more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Beautifully said. And kind of like going back to what you said, Hunt, too, oftentimes when there's too much talk, it's all up in the head. And it's not really following our strategy and authority. It's not truly grounded. Wow. Beautiful. Amazing, amazing discussion. We could go on forever, and I think it's time to wrap everything up. Thank you so much, Hunt. Thank you, Helen, for joining and sharing your perspective as well. It was really rich. Thank you, Lucretia and Veronica, for everything that you are putting together in the festival. Also, thank you for your questions as well. It is an incredible experience that we, again, would love to have you join us. So, would you like to join us in Sofia, Bulgaria for the Human Design Festival and Immersion? this is the time to register. And anything, Veronica or Lucretia, you want to say before we wrap everything up?
There is one more question.
Okay.
It's from Charmaine. What is the most effective number of people for an immersion? Does it matter? For example, I'm not a large group person, and as a 5-1 emotional manifester, a large group would not be an ideal environment for me. Would this still be productive or just disruptive?
Hmm. Um, okay, well, I'm gonna do a little bit of the immersion right now. Okay. I wouldn't believe anything your mind says about anything. It's either correct for you to come to the immersion or not, right? Because every immersion is different. And the beauty about people being in their mechanics, it doesn't matter how many people there are. If everybody is staying in their lane, and my job, if you want to call it that, as a facilitator, is if it gets messy, which means that people are initiating from their minds, I have to meet that. I have to confront that, right? So the space becomes, that's the whole point, right? The whole point is no matter how big it is, it's that everybody there is in an attempt to surrender to their mechanics, which means that manifestors can experience peace with people, peace with people. And if they're not having peace with people, then it's, are those people initiating with the manifester? And if the manifester is being initiated with, then they're in a space where, as the facilitator, I will definitely encourage the manifester to tell those people, stop initiating with me. And I will empower that. I will empower that to happen because that's to me what manifestors have to do to get their power back. They have to tell the outside world to leave them the fuck alone. So whether there's 5 people or there's 50 people, it's the opportunity for a manifester to know peace with others,
Mm.
right? So it's just, is there a push and does the inner authority say, yeah, let's go? You know?
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Really, really powerful. Yeah. Amazing.
Karen,
Beautiful.
thank you so much
Yes.
for your patience. Really, we know it's your birthday and you're eager to celebrate. So, if you
Yeah.
want, you can just leave the Zoom. We'll finish it off. It's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. It has been amazing. I'm going to jump off and celebrate, and I'll leave it to all of you to wrap everything up. Thank you so very much. Thank you so much, Hunt, and thank you, everyone here. Can't wait to see you in a couple weeks. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Karen. Happy birthday.
Bye,
Bye.
Thank
Karen.
you.
Bye. Lucretia, do you want to say something?
Yes, I really remembered and had a awareness, like new awareness out of this um, contemplation, like when I was being at festivals, human design festivals, live and online, that I, as a generator, didn't do much. I was a speaker, so I would present for an hour, or I was a volunteer, I would help with this and that. But generally, I wouldn't say that I did like much. And this is the places where I have experienced the biggest, I don't know, amount of satisfaction as a generator. Like huge, huge, huge amount of satisfaction and lightness. So, contrary to kind of a popular belief that generators have to respond, then they do, and they experience satisfaction, that you can experience that with not doing anything or
Hmm.
doing like something exceptionally tiny. And so I guess this is something that like Hunt was talking about more or less through the whole webinar here, that when you are with other beings that are more or less on the same frequency and experience themselves in a way a little bit different than in their everyday life, like more relaxed and more honored and more recognized, then what kind of satisfaction is that? Like, maybe this is a question. It's like just the satisfaction of being with like-minded people is like there's nothing like it.
Mm. Mm. Well, it's, do you want to hear?
Yes, please.
Is nobody's interfering with each other. There's no interference. And unless a manifester is doing something, it's just like you get to just relax, you know? I mean, maybe this is a unique experience for the fives out there, right? Living inside of a five vehicle. Man, as soon as I step out into public and it's like to deal with the projection field, like I walk down a town and somebody recognized me and it's like I don't want to be I want to be left alone. I just want to be left alone, you know? So in an immersion, it's sort of like, okay, yes, I'm a facilitator, so people usually come up and ask questions, but they knock on my door. Hey, hon, can I ask you something? Uh-huh. So my response allows me to meet them and I'm not disturbed, right? Whereas when you just go out there into the regular world and people recognize you, nobody's asking, right? So you're having to like, hey, hon, how's it going? And it's like, here we go, you know? Like, so when you're in an immersion, it's just like everybody's just leaving each other alone. And if they're not, it's like, okay, what's going on here? Why is this projector coming up to me and asking me a question? Why are they initiating? You know? So it's, yeah, that to me is what hopefully is taking place.
Sounds great.
If you don't mind, I want to say something about my experience with immersion with Youth Hunt. Would you like to
Oh,
hear
yeah.
that?
Oh, yeah. Are you okay to share something?
Yeah. Guys, if you have not been to an immersion, you have to try that if it's correct for you. Because when I met Hunt, thanks to Neviana, who is also here on the call, thank you very much. I was already for 13 years in my experiment, and it completely changed it in a way that it's not even explainable. It's just I fell in love with this work because for me this is the most significant thing to do, is really immerse yourself, not talk about it, not study about it, not workshop about it, lecture about it or whatever, but just step in a safe environment where you can be yourself, you can be respected for who you are, in a very non-intellectual way, in a non-mental way, just listening to your body and being with others who are trying to do the same or not.
Mhm.
So it's really an amazing experience, even to see, and maybe especially to see how after so much waiting and so much integrity, I'm going to use that word, you still are trapped by the not self ways and the fear of your mind. And to spot yourself doing it and seeing also others doing it, it brings so much acceptance, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Is that
It's
true?
not a test. It's not a test. Our experiment is not a test. We're not
Mm-hmm.
here to perform,
No.
just to live it.
Uh-huh.
And that's what I found out in an immersion. Very, very deeply.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. There you go. That's what an immersion is. Right there.
Yeah. Han, do you have something to add?
No, I think the point is across.
Yeah.
We'll find
Guys, we
out.
would love to have you. Would you like to join us? Experience it.
Yeah. Experience your signature like you have never probably experienced it before.
And your red flags. And
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The
I,
pleasure to just,
I have a little story for you if you guys want a little story.
mm-hmm.
It was my first immersion with Marianne. And I had thrown out some question, and it came from my mind. And it went around the room and it still got answered, right? And Marianne was kind of just trying to bring out, that what can come from the mind, that it wasn't coming from somebody who's waiting and in response. It was the mind initiating into the space. And I said, yeah, but it still got answered. And then she just came in and she went, but can you ask me if that matters or something like that? And I was like, oh, da, da. And I asked her the question and she said, uh-uh. And she went, it just reminds me of the open ego. And however she said that, it cut through me like a knife because she touched on what was my conditioning's deepest wound, which was that I was participating in the very thing that revealed the fear of unworthiness that I had, that lived inside here, that I got to meet my open ego that crystal clear and to have her reveal it back to me. And it went through me like a knife. I mean, Marianne, her frequency is very sharp, very sharp. And it cut. And I remember I had tears come out of my eyes and I cried. And it was like, oh my God. And it just made it like, I do not want to do shit like that again. Like, I do not want to do that. That is awful what I just experienced. And it came because I initiated. And it was my open ego. I was trying to prove something. And there was no need for it. My worth was not in that I needed to prove anything. So it was like this beautifully painful magic moment that happened inside of immersion. And it was my first one. And it was just like, oh, okay, that's what this is? Okay, you know. Then I just kept responding to going to them. So yeah, immersions can be really powerful places.
So, guys, if you resonate and you feel like this is your geometry and we are on your fractal, you know what to do. You'll find ways to come and join us. That's all I can say. Lucretia, do you want something to add?
I'm very happy. Not anything else.
Hunt, you have something to add?
I just have one little thing, which is kind of like where this little thing, this webinar, I don't know what you want to call this Zoom call, kind of where it went to is I recognize a few people who I know are living their experiment. And for me, it was very clear that it started to just naturally turn into a communion, where if we are going to share, if there is things to say, that it naturally starts to happen. And whatever it is that we have to share or have to say, well, at least my experience of it is I want to hear it, you know? And it's really about our mundane experiences. And so it's like in the maturation of living your design, we can get to that place of where if we do get on a Zoom call or something like this, it's literally because it's like one, it's correct, but what can happen is you just commune with each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Very much so.
I mean, did you feel the flavor of that in this Zoom call?
That's why we cannot end it, you know. Keep going and going. Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Are you good?
guys. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I'm good. Are you good, Hunt?
Yeah.
Shall we put it to a close?
Hmm.
Lucretia?
Yeah. So, yeah, this was a very satisfying communion and call and webinar. I sense for Veronica as well.
Heartfelt.
Heartfelt, yeah. And yeah, these webinars has been thought out to really show what the festival is all about, to share the frequency of the speakers, and to really get together and enjoy ourselves with these talks and this sharing. So we hope you guys enjoy this, and if you want more, yeah, you're more than welcome to the festival, live or online.
And with that, lots of hugs. Hope to see you live to give you live hugs. And if not, meet you in a comfortable space online, maybe even in your pajamas.
Oh yeah, yeah. Today, my friend whom I met just for a couple of hours, and I hug her, said, "No one hugs like you." So, guys, come and have a hug with me. A hug to remember. And of course, not just that.
Yeah. Okay, guys.
All right, guys.
Bye.
Thank
See
you.
you
Thank you,
soon.
Hans. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Mwah.
Bye. Thank you very much. I enjoyed that a lot.
Lucretia, would you like to stop the...
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. Hello, guys. Would you like to show yourselves? Natalie, Bambaji, Sonia.
Yeah, it's still recording, I think.
Yeah. Is it still recording?
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
still
Oh,
recording. Yeah.